it's Kenzy Knoxx. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be following along with the TheArtSherpas Sunset Beach Girl painting, and so you can simply find her on YouTube. And let's just jump on in and get started. So go ahead and add some orange and yellow ochre to your palette, and then we can just begin painting our waterline and our sunset. So to begin off with, I'm going to start with this small filbert brush. You can see right here, it might be a 1/2 inch filbert brush, but I'm going to dip into my yellow paint and add some orange to that and then make it a nice bright orange color. And we're going to add that to our horizon line. Now she's working on a square canvas and I'm working on a rectangular canvas, a 9 by 11 I believe. But so that mark right there, that's our horizon line. And so if you're having trouble transferring your paint to your canvas and it's making little streaky marks like mine is, you can go ahead and add a little water to your brush, or you can do my little trick where I add a little tempera paint to my little bundle or my little pile of paint, and it actually makes it move so much smoother across the canvas. And now I'm going to take some yellow and I'm just going to add that to right above the orange area and try to blend that in well. And without cleaning off my brush, I'm going to grab more yellow and I'm going to add that to that area just to bring up the yellow line just a little bit higher. And I'm going to blend that out real nice. And since I have a lot of paint in the body of my brush, I'm just going to try to let it come out onto the canvas by just pushing it down onto the paper. Now I'm going to rinse off my brush real well. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up a little more yellow and I'm going to blend this up a little bit higher. So right above that orange line, and I'm going to make a solid little yellow area.
Come into the top.
Some more yellow.
Start to do this.
Pull it down. Okay, so now.
Easy color, but it is doable.
Okay, so whenever blending in complementary colors, it is very difficult to blend them out, but it is not impossible. So we're taking some dioxazine purple or some violet and a lot of magenta and a tiny bit of yellow, just a tiny little bit. And we're going to be adding this to the top area, the very, very top area, and blend it down slowly. And try not to mix that into that yellow while it's wet, or else you may get like a brown color, which is something we don't want to do. And so for now, we're just going to bring that purple down just to the line, just to the yellow, but we're not going to go over it just yet. Okay, and that looks great. Okay, so now we're going to make that little batch again. I'm going to make it a little different with violet and red this time. And maybe add a little bit of my little tempera. You don't have to if you don't have it. Don't worry about that. And now we're going to start our waterline, which is going to be about a couple inches above the bottom of the canvas. And it's going to work its way upwards towards the top of the canvas as we move to the right side. And this will create a natural waterline. And this will look just beautiful. And I'm just very excited to do this painting. I haven't done a painting for a couple days, and so this is just something I really needed, something really relaxing, and I'm really excited for the outcome of this painting. This is a challenge for me, and I hope it's a challenge for you as well, because that makes it more fun. So we're just blocking in this color. We're not trying to do this whole water in right now. We're just trying to create a water line that starts out slowly and comes out in a more dramatic form. And once you're satisfied with your waterline, just go ahead and fill it all on in. Okay, so now we're going to take just some orange, it looks like, and down just a little bit. And we're just going to fill in a little area just below that magenta water line. And we're just going to go across the canvas very gently. And, I mean, take your time. There's no rush. We want to enjoy our painting and relax. And so this orange line will get wider as it gets to the left, and it should get narrower as it goes to the right, as we're creating distance in our painting. And now taking some red oxide, I am just going to go and do basically the same thing I did with the orange. And I'm just going to go below the orange and just go across the canvas very lightly and drag this below the orange and then somewhat a little bit into the orange just to blend it up. And keep in mind we're creating a reflection of the sky into the water area below. And so this is like part of the shoreline where the water comes over the sand, and we've got this beautiful reflection that we're creating. And this red oxide layer that we're doing is a very thin layer, and it does get larger as it moves to the left side, as well as the orange did very slightly. So now we're going to take that magenta-y pink color that we had made previously and just add it below the red oxide color that we just put onto our canvas. And once you're done with the purple layer, we're going to try to slowly blend it up into that red oxide layer. And do this gently because we don't want to lose that red oxide layer, but we just want to blend it into the magenta-y purple color below it. So now I'm going to take a cool purple color and cover up most of that color that I just did because it just wasn't dark enough in color. So we're just going to cover that up with a couple layers. Now taking some orangey color, I'm just going to take that and add some layers to our sky, just so it's a more dramatic effect. So we want the sunset area, the area closest to the water, to be more red and rich in color, and gradually get lighter and lighter into a yellow color at the top, and then the purple obviously. But our sky should be almost a red to an orange to a lighter orange and then to a yellow. As we all know, we need to layer our acrylic paints in order for the color to show up vibrant and brilliantly. So again, we're just creating layers upon layers of paint. And so we're just going to start with the purple, and then we'll continue on with the orange and the yellow below it.
Build up a lot of paint in your brush. And that can be really, and so what you see me do is you gotta get it early. It's going to escape.
Now that we've let our paint dry, we can continue on with layering our paint colors for our sky and our water. In order to do this, I'll be using this filbert brush, which I believe is either a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch filbert brush, although you can use any brush you feel comfortable with. As you can see, I'm starting out with the orange color, and I'm just trying to create this rich red color at the horizon. As when the sun sets, you get this really red, rich, dramatic sunset, and it's just non-describable. I don't believe it's describable because it's just so beautiful. But the colors are very vibrant, and they're very apparent that it is red, and then it moves into this like orangey red. It's like a fire in the sky almost. So I'm taking this orange color that I created and I'm added a little bit of red to it to make it a little more reddish in tone. And so I'm just adding this to my layers of acrylic paint, and this will create a more dramatic effect that we're going for. And now I'm moving back up to the purpley colored layer up top, and I'm just taking the color that we made for the sky, for this portion of the sky, and I'm just adding layers. Again, layers and layers and layers of paint. And this will make our painting really stand out and really hold its color true, because we know that acrylics fade over time, or that they dry darker than they should, or not that they should, but they dry darker than they are when they are wet. And since this color in the sky matches the color of our ocean, because it is a reflection of the sky, both the sky is a reflection of the ocean is a reflection of the sky, sort of thing, we'll be covering up or adding coats of paint to the ocean waters too. In order to create a less harsh transition from the yellow to the purple, I am adding a little bit of a yellowish purpley color to the top of the sky portion where it meets the yellow, and also to the water where it meets the orange, and this will help with the transitions of colors so that they're not so in your face and so harsh. So now I'm going to wash out my brush, and I'm going to make some more red-orange color, a little more red this time around, and add this to the horizon line to make this that red fire color that we're looking for. I'm going to take yellow and add that to my dirty brush and just bring this color upward and upward so that we have a gradient that's more gradual and not just a harsh line. And now I'm going to take that orange color that we used in the sky and add it to the reflection portion of the water below, because we want these colors to be in sync with each other. After cleaning your brush out thoroughly, grab some yellow and we'll just add another coat of yellow to the sky up above. So once we're done that, we're going to take this red, the red color similar to the color closest to the water, and we're going to create some clouds. And I'm using a round brush to do this, and we're just going to make some random little dots and lines and shapes, and we don't want any of them to be similar. We don't want them to be exactly alike. We want them to be a little bit different, a little bit scattered and all over the place. So don't be too worried about creating the same shapes that I'm creating or that the TheArtSherpa creates. We're just trying to create some drizzled clouds in the sky. And notice that all the clouds along the same horizontal line are all around the same size, so we don't want these ones to be too big or too small, just all around the same size. And as we go up on the canvas, we'll create larger clouds, and as we go below that line, they will be smaller clouds. Grabbing a slightly lighter color, so add a little bit of yellow to that orangey color that you made. We're going to now create larger clouds in the yellow area of the sky, and these clouds will be larger than the ones below, but they should be lighter in color too. Keep that in mind when you're drawing your clouds in. Now comes the fun part. We get to fill in our clouds with the purple color that we used for the ocean below. So it's going to be reflecting the ocean. The clouds will be reflecting the ocean, that is. So inside the orange, don't cover all of the orange, but we're going to create purple, and it looks right now that I'm picking up paint, so my paint's not dry enough for me to add purple color yet, but I'm going to keep trying. And we will be adding layers, so don't worry about it too much. But you want to make sure that there is a little bit of orange outside the purple that you're filling in, because we want that to look like a highlight of our clouds. And unfortunately, we do need to fill in each and every single one of the clouds that we made, so you might need a smaller round brush in order to complete this task, but it will be worth it, trust me. Since my paint wasn't dry enough, I went ahead and just started drawing the clouds up in the purplish color area of the sky. And in order to do this, we're not using orange, we're just going to use the purple color that matches the ocean. So just grab some purple and make some bigger, fluffier clouds. These should be the largest clouds that we have on our canvas, because in proportion to distance, this would make us look like we're closer to these clouds, and then the clouds lower on the canvas will look farther away and in the distance. And once you're happy with the clouds that you've created in the sky, which I am, I'm just happy with those two large fluffy clouds, I'm going back to filling in those orange clouds I created below. And remember to make sure that you don't completely color in the clouds. You want the little orange outline on the cloud to show through and highlight each and every cloud. And we all know in order for acrylic paint to keep showing through, we need to add layers. So go ahead and add some layers to your clouds. And now that we've filled in the larger clouds, we're going to have to go in and fill the smaller clouds. And feel free, like I said before, to grab a smaller round brush or flat brush or angular brush or whatever brush you feel comfortable. You can even use a liner brush to do this part of the painting. And now I am taking that purple color that we filled in the clouds and just create some distant land structures. These don't need to really be there. You don't have to have them if you don't want to. I only did one layer of these, so they're not really visible. They're kind of like hazy in the background. So don't worry too much if you're worried about these land masses. You don't need to do them if you don't want to. And now taking that orangey red color, I'm making some very distant clouds, and they're going to be barely visible, and we're not filling these ones in with purple, so these will only be very light in color and probably will blend into the background, but we want to show some indication that there are clouds very far away that we can barely see. And once we're done with our clouds, or we're wrapping up with our clouds, we're going to take this very white yellow color and we're going to make the sun. The sun's going to be a very small little dot right almost in the smack dab center of our canvas in the horizon line. So go ahead and make your sun. I'm using a round brush and just dotting that in. And then I'm also highlighting the water line, so where the sun would reflect on the water. So just add some of that same color to the little area where the water meets the sand. And now taking a little bit of violet color, I'm just going back over some of the areas of the water that just look a little too muted in color. And we will want to make a reflection of the sun in the water, so don't worry about that. We will get to that part. So now taking a cooler purple color that almost matches the darkest part of our sand on our canvas, which is in the bottom right corner. We're just going to go over our water and make it darker in color so that it reflects the clouds better and matches all the rest of the painting. So now taking that lighter purple-ish yellow color that we had created for our sky color, I'm going to go over the shoreline with that to show the reflection of the sun, but not so it's just so harsh, but more blended in. And just remember that we're creating layers on top of layers, which will give us a nice beautiful look in the end. And we'll have highlights and lowlights and different areas of different shades and colors, and it will look just wonderful. We're now going to take this purple color and bring it down below the orange water layer that we had created, and this will allow us to create this beautiful sunset reflection that we'll be creating in just a moment. Now we're just taking a little bit of magenta.
Even though it's you could just go stripe, 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 stripe and be done with it. I think you're probably thinking, well, then why didn't you? Previous video. Just our technique. Different techniques, different art concepts, right? Sometimes we need to...
I'm just taking some magenta.
What we're doing.
We're probably going to have to layer this, so it's okay.
I'm going to also start to take some of this into, our water a bit.
And take some magenta up here too.
The sun.
And that sky is very good.
And that's with that yellow
Brush this orange.
and white with that magenta.
Up here, and I'm brushing a little orange along here. So it's different than the usual corridor of light that we do. And I'm going to go ahead and
We're just
get
adding
my
some orange in there too.
glaze involved. I'm going to put my glaze into it because I want to improve my brushability. And I really don't want it to feel like a dry brush as much as it is.
So I'm going to take that lighter orange. Come this way.
Add just some orange. I've got the glazing medium in it. Glazing medium. It's glowing. See it glowing? It's just what it is.
I totally do. I mean, like, you're adding the sky reflection there.
And then I'm going to take some yellow.
And then when I get down into this,
Add it into that orange.
into the cad red and cad yellow space, I'm going to use my glaze, control of it. I always get my acrylic on it, and that does some interesting kind of transitional stuff.
I'm going to grab some of that brighter orange that we made.
Glazing medium.
Come on down over here.
I'm going to brush harder because I do want the purple to show through. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Getting like kind of a more glaze on that.
There you go. And then on the outside, I'm just going to do some more magenta.
Acetone, white, and Naples yellow. Roll this up there.
So amazing. At the top of the painting,
yes, and keep your brush strokes horizontal. Because water always wants to be horizontal. And you can make them texture-y as long as they're horizontal.
And then I may come in and get some yellow. I have a little bit of white for some glaze.
I rinse out my brush because I have a lot of paint in the body.
It's kind of like this yellow purple. Little challenge.
I'm actually going to go down a size, so I'm going to take my smaller filbert brush. I'm going to grab some.
Little yellow to my it's just that there's some interesting reflections happening out here.
Some yellow. She wants to have into yellow. It's making me nervous, but we'll see.
A wet part of the beach. Very light with my brush pressure.
So I'm just getting on the very tip, then brushing that in just slightly.
I've got a lot of work here to do, so I don't want to go too far into it because she's going to
So she carries it out this way.
I may want to wait till I see her because she'll be capturing and creating some interesting shadows and everything that's going on. I think I've got one more kind of little orange that I want to get out here.
There's a little more yellow over here.
Yellow. I'm working through my yellow. On this painting, I worked with a lot of yellow. If it gets away from you, dry, start again.
I love the reflections that are happening on the beach now.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be the sauce of awesome. They will be the awesome sauce. I need some just distinctive little glow. That's very glowy.
Dress a little bit more orange.
Oh, there we go. Macrodone and my cad red.
Some magenta.
They are one of my favorite
And red.
mixes in my cad. Yeah, I feel like they do some really special stuff. As you can see right here.
Oh yeah.
Just putting that right here. And up over here.
And just touch it with it. There we go. Alright, let's call that a step because that was a lot. We did a lot.
There's a lot of that.
There was a lot to it. Very reflective beach. We did a lot. I'm gonna come back and
Okay, this is quinacridone, magenta, and red. So now they're drying it, letting it, and then they'll come back. And just
come back
touching up.
in and start putting in some dimensionality to the water. And I'm gonna do that with my dioxazine purple. And I'm just getting my
And I'm just going to do a little bit more magenta in here. There, perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and wash out our brush.
And bring a little line there and come forward. This is how I'm going to delineate how some of the ocean water is happening.
Okay,
And the waves.
so we're taking some
Well, for me. Hopefully for you as well.
violet. I'm going to take
What a strange
my
thing.
pointed brush, I guess.
I don't think I ever thought about if you were paying attention to my art before in there. I was just working in the world.
Yeah, well, it looks like it hasn't
I
really.
never thought about what it's like, but it's been really nice actually to have you be here.
I'm going to use.
It just felt really unexpected. It wasn't something that I thought would expect or necessarily need.
Well, we've really been doing this most of our marriage. Like, if you go back to our first house in Hockley where you had your jewelry set up in the living room and you just made stuff while
I'm going to use this little flat brush here,
It's true though.
like quarter size. I'm going to grab magenta, or not magenta, some violet purple.
These lines are the waves.
These lines are going to be first.
Because of this kind of lighting, I'm just making little tapping marks where the water is maybe a little churny. Let go.
cinnamon made danger jewelry.
I did make some jewelry that can take your life.
Don't fall down while wearing it.
Seriously, it's a good thing not every piece was sold. Would have been sued.
Very pokey pokey.
Wearability was not my concern. I was like,
The shapes,
hard as pain.
angles.
I had a lot going on. I don't know what to say. It was a thing.
She was surprised that I still had some.
I was so super surprised that you kept as much as you did.
I have a treasure chest of small things I keep.
I'm gonna turn this aside just to make sure that I keep my lines straight. I'm gonna do the same here.
think we're doing a line across the horizon.
I think this is going to end up maybe being one of my favorite sunsets. And it's so funny because people are like, have you painted a sunset before? I'm like, did you paint all the sunsets? No. I could do sunsets every day for here, and I would have just barely scratched the surface of the setting sun.
Okay, and then for this guy here.
At the sun itself, I'm going to get a little bit into my cad red.
We're just going to come over this way.
It's just a nice touch. And then I want to check my horizon real fast. Sun. I'm going to get my brush wet, make sure the flow of my paint is good.
Okay.
And back here, I'm going to make little short strokes and touch with water.
Okay, now we can take a little bit of blue, some deep blue.
There's bits of water showing through, but a lot of it is
We mix that into the purple too.
That's a little bit the viewpoint, perspective, distance.
Push it a little darker.
There's a few reasons.
You go over this line again. Do these very short lines. Even just tap your canvas with this brush.
There's that ocean.
Ocean happens, you know.
And then over here.
Wave, depth of the wave, ocean.
Well, and you know, you see waves actually. This is a really great way of understanding how you see motion in water. We did that how I paint water course, right? I showed you guys the techniques of why decisions I make in water.
Yeah.
And we did it in black and white, which was kind of very experimental, but looking back, I'm super glad I did it that way. I made that teaching method again in a more different kind of way, but again, back to that, because I think it was useful.
I'm going to dip back into that color and create this little
So easily make like
waves.
little bits of
And that's blue, dark blue, and the violet.
I mean, she's here before the surf, I feel, but okay. Small day. Maybe she's waiting.
Careful for the wet paint.
Oh, those waves.
Little ripples in the water. So water does stuff.
Water does stuff.
It does. It's busy, busy business, water. Especially if it's coming in from the ocean. It's very rarely just still. In fact, it's almost disturbing when I see water that's super still. I just instantly go to, there's got to be something in that. The water be scary.
Sharks.
Sharks. Add a little weight to my...
It would take nothing. You put a little fin poking up here. It's not so much.
Okay, so going back to our painting, we're still working on the ocean and adding some ripply lines in. It looks like she's doing a lighter purple over the darker purple. So again, shadows and highlights. So with my violet, and I'm going to take my violet and my deep blue to combine them and make the deep purple color that we need to create these indications of waves. And I'll also be using my small or medium-sized round brush to do this step. I think this brush is actually too big. So I'll take, my little angular brush I was working with. There we go. Take some blue and that purple.
That's how you get the flow. Oh my goodness, we had a lot going on there, didn't we? Alright, follow that a step. Come back and we'll start working the beach forward a little bit.
And now over that, we need to make a highlight. And so I'm going to take some of my purple and mix some of that magenta with it, lighten it up a little bit. And it looks like she was on top of some of these areas. I apologize for my sniffles, but I have the worst allergies today, so bear with me, please. I also apologize for my recording wire on my earphones hanging down in front of the painting. I was listening to the tutorial through my earphones, and the TV is in the background, and I'm sorry about that. I could do a walkthrough, I guess. Maybe going forward I'll do a voiceover. I'm adding just a little yellow now to the color, just over here where the sun. Okay, now I'm going to take some of that dark blue color just by itself. I'm going to recreate some of these shadow marks. Okay, when you're satisfied with that, which I think I'm okay with that, we can move forward. I'm also going to fix up some of these clouds real quick with some purple. So I'm going to take some magenta with some pink, magenta and some violet.
It tells me a little bit about the perspective of the world. How far above the sun do I feel like she is in the view? The little eddying. I like to put shoulders. I often drop shoulders under my head. And it gives me a sense of space. I know I want her feet kind of come down here. sketching gesture, really. Initially is what I do. Sketch the gesture, and then I'll come in and put in the figure. It's interesting for me because I actually find that I think more when I'm drawing than when I'm painting. It's more of a gear grinder for me.
Working out maths.
Weird little maths inside my head. And I do want to have a little bit of light peeking, or like so I'm trying to maintain that. And I very much like the curve of everything. So I'm going to maintain that as well. However, this is a silhouette, so that's correctly to get her where you want her to be.
That's about the gesture.
There's a lot of gesture in here that personalities where you need them to be. And bad. Because
She's drawing out her silhouette right now. I don't know.
I like the heart shadow. It's one of the things that
I'm just gonna go for it freehand. Okay, so now I'm gonna start in with the drawing, and I'm gonna use
is going to be really nice, in my opinion, my expertise.
my little pointer brush here, or maybe this one here. Something similar to this, I think I'm gonna start out with. Her head starts up over here,
Silhouette's just nice sometimes to play with.
so her head's gonna be here, and then her shoulders, her neck, and then her shoulders. I'm gonna take a bit of the light yellow, and then her shoulders, and down,
And now I'm going to come back into that step around like we talked
and
about.
she's
But already
holding
you can see
something.
that. So take your CAD red over to your dot purple.
And this arm, so this board goes up.
Of my titanium white. I know.
Goes this way, and she's got her little leg, so this comes over here, and her little leg goes this way, one little leg.
A little more white up at the top. And a little more purple.
About a shadowy surfboard.
The thing is in this type of lighting, it is a silhouette, and it's easy to say, okay, well, it's a black silhouette, but it's really rarely actually a black silhouette. So it's important to capture those little moments that are not, in fact, completely black. And we're not even going to use black, we're going to use oxazine purple. Which a lot of people think is
Interesting, because the way she's drawing it, that's the size of her figure. I guess maybe I'll just extend the legs longer, widen it out.
around with carefully paint this in.
Oh, it's still not okay. I gotta go bigger. And stay the same. Okay.
Fill this in. And that helps just create a little
Let's
bit
do a little bit of a
silhouette
butt.
shape in relationship. And sure, for the purposes of this, you will feel like she is silhouetted in black. You can see she just clearly is not.
It really looks much more realistic. It's not realism.
Alright, I think we have an idea of what we're doing. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna grab some of that blue color.
But I would have to say that we don't really. I would say we do
And that is very wet.
There's a word for it. It's like a romanticized type of realism.
That's and it's painterly. You're not trying to hide the fact that you have brushstrokes.
Yeah, we're not hiding that this is.
And that's there are different art forms that do. It's like where they don't want you to know that you can see a brushstroke.
Very much so. And that's a lot of times what we're talking about. We're talking about something being loose or something being tight. As we are talking distinctly about if you can see the brushstroke and the color mix in the process. If at any with something or not thick enough, I can always come back with a color and kind of erase out. So I'm going to do it in the eyes. In a minute. I'm going to turn this side just because that's going to be a better angle to enter in. You can see if I do any depth of purple at all, it is black.
Yeah.
And we will for sure be taking the number 1 monogram liner and really defining those hairs that are blowing out to the side. I do want to kind of come in with the peach and trim back in on her legs some. I will come with my ocean color that I have over here at the side. And see if I need to. I can come back if I have anything that's not making me happy. I'm not stuck. And that's important to realize because sometimes when you're doing a figure, if you've never done a figure before, I'm going to let you know right now, if you've never painted a figure before, you've got to promise me you're going to be really forgiving of yourself. It takes a minute to understand portions of figures, the way silhouettes work, how many heads is a body, how many heads by age is a body. You kind of measure bodies by heads, what it takes to get there. So if you're just learning, give yourself a minute to just learn.
That adds a lot of depth.
Very much like it when we pull a little red into the hair. At this stage, I'm going to come in just a little bit to her board. It's important to people that surf.
Oh.
If they surf, they're going to know that there should be fins there. Beat them in the head when the leash drags them into the beach, and you beat them in the head with their board. You know what I mean?
Behind her.
And it's always like a thing like, well, I really don't want to go get my board, but if I'm tethered to it, it's going to be that other experience. Being dragged into the shore, and then there's always a fin hits you in the head. So, but you're like, really don't want to go get your board. So one doesn't have another choices.
This just seems like shark bait activity. Specifically, like, I'm gonna go pretend to be a seal for a bit.
Just bring this here. And I'm going to go ahead and do this little silhouette back here and kind of like these little stripes.
Okay, so moving forward, we're still working on our figure. So I'm just gonna grab some of that blue and come down. Our little footies. come this way. Make sure they're in proportion to each other. I'm just going to have it come over to the body that way. And then have her hip. And the board, which is very damn pink. Which is actually going to come out at different angles, so we're going to have it come out this way. Let's put that board in orange. Mix the sky too. And the hair. Okay, then we'll take that blue. And carry that into her hair. we'll take a minute and assess that, see if we like it. We also need to make the shadow real quick too. I almost forgot. So taking that blue, try to come this way. So now we assess and we think about it. Okay, so now that we got all that done, silhouette done, we're gonna go over the beach area. So let's see. We are going to take some of our orange, some of our red, some yellow oxide as well. Okay, now what we're going to do is take our filbert brush, sorry. Okay, so go ahead and get your brush wet, tap off the drips, and then grab, let's see,
I'm gonna and then wipe off on the towel because I don't want it to be so
I'm going to take
wet
some
it's
orange,
with it. Let's begin with
add
a
some yellow with it,
bright orange and get a very, very bright orange going.
and maybe a
Carefully
dip of
around her.
red.
I don't want to mess her up, and I may come in with a
And I'm going around her.
pointed brush to paint around her. Putting in some bright orange. On here, right up the edge of that water.
And I feel like her water right here is orangey too, so I'm just going to lighten this up. Just in this foreground area.
On the outer edges, I like it to be a little deeper to the cad red, and then towards the interior.
Help us achieve the color we're going for, just on the outside. Blend that inward.
A little dark orange to that outer edge. Does not hurt. And then you can use the green.
And I'm just going to bring in closer to her, because I really want the eye drawn to her. Rinse out my brush. Hers is even redder than mine, so I'm going to add a bit more red.
Starting to see things are reflective. I'm going to wipe up my brush. And I'm going to get a lot of yellow on it.
Okay. Rinse out your brush.
Wow.
Okay, so now I'm going to get lots of yellow. I'm going to take a smaller brush, smaller filbert, this brush. I'm going to grab just the yellow, and it's like these reflections.
Straight down, so that's what you see me doing here, is I'm just making sure I'm not getting off the straight axis of them.
I'm actually going to take yellow ochre and do this because it looks like yellow ochre, not yellow.
And I'm going to come back and I will grab my number 6 bright hog that we had from earlier. And I'm going to make sure that some of this bright orange also is maybe hitting the water a couple places. Just coming down.
Taking you the ogre.
Looking good. Let's come back here and we're going to go do the quinacridone on the peaches, all those really other kind of crazy fun colors. So if I get my cad red and it's that really cool cad red, Naples yellow, magenta kind of look.
And magenta.
Set of colors.
Cad red,
Yeah, it'll pull together really
yellow,
fast.
and magenta.
When it finally finds its little journey in. The beach has a journey. A little more magenta to the outside here. I haven't even gotten the really wild shadows that would happen in this space out that make it also wet. And come in and add a little more of my Naples yellow and white. It is coming out that way. And just brush back and forth. Kind of implies a wet area in this weird zone. A little more white into it.
Well, I can't add white in this situation, but I can use a yellowy white, which will hopefully create the same effect. Cad red, magenta, and yellow.
Get into the oxazine and my quinacridone, and I'll let it mix into this other area that I kind of already had going. And I can put darker space, maybe a little shadow. No, right, I just want that dimensionality. We're in here. Oh, the brush. Pretty on its tippy toe. Add some shadow there.
Evens it out. And then we can take some purple, violet, some deep blue. Take our brush,
Lines up.
mix that purple with just a touch of blue.
Almost a glaze. The shadows are as important.
I'm going to add shadows too around here.
Trying to capture them. It's not heavy with the paint.
And then down here.
And I can even get into the glaze. It's definitely glaze. If you're having trouble controlling that, it's a neat, pretty glaze. For this to like fully work. And you come in with more magenta, maybe a little white. I'm gonna break up some of this.
Okay, so now I'm going to take my brush.
So start with the dark, so maybe you'll see it better with
Just trying to see what she's doing. She's grabbing some purple. Just breaking out some of this.
again is what helps it feel. A smidge wet, which it is now. Feeling kind of like a smidge wet. And I'm going to take my detail brush. I'm going to get a little purple and white going here. And I'm going to add little areas. Actually, start with the dark. You may be able to see it better with the dark on the palette. Start with a little bit of your monogram liner.
Okay, so I'm going to take my little liner brush here. So like this.
Yeah, they're little things that happen.
And blue.
Little seabirds are always looking for.
Let's put some little dabs in the water.
bubbles and things. But nice to talk about them as well. And have little bits of water or foam. I'm going to make sure I add those little details, rinse out, and then get back into that white color. It's not a total white because it's got a little bit of the purple in it.
Okay, wash out your brush. I'm going to take that yellow, light yellow, add some purple to it. Take that lighter yellow color.
And then you can kind of start to see that little.
Oh, and then we just kind of highlight some of these.
Wow.
Okay, so she looks like she's just highlighting some of these
Little bits.
little shells. Had I known that, I would have made them bigger.
Maybe a way to just let them come in and some stuff. Come on here. Just a little bit along the edge of that wave. A little bit along the edge of that wave.
Yeah, just tease in that bright yellow with the purple violet. See those together. Just highlight a little bit of the wave.
Those little details can make a big difference.
This wave over here.
The way your water reads.
This wave too. Okay, and it honestly looks like she took some red oxide.
Oh, I like that very, very, very much. Doesn't that look lovely? Wet, it's happy.
And I'm going to take my smaller filbert brush. Gotta get a little wet. Grab a little bit of my brown oxide. I'm going to add
Do you think we're good?
Yeah.
Let's give it a sign.
some of these
Go ahead and use that really fun purple that I had just made.
around here.
Another day, landscape and water. I hope you guys really liked today's class because I think it was fun. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you at an easel really soon. Bye.
Okay, and at that point I believe we're finished, so I hope you enjoyed this YouTube tutorial. I know I did. I'm just going to add a little bit something to her hair. Getting a little blue. These tendrils can just come out a little bit more. And you know, it really is the small details, so I am going to take a moment and just try to fix up some things with my velvet brush real quick. Just like the foot here. You know, just maybe more cap here. Make sure the body is not a transparent. It's not supposed to be, anyway. Okay. So once that's done, oops. Go ahead and take a look at your photo, and I believe we are done. So I hope you enjoyed this YouTube tutorial. I know that I did. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.